So right now, what is working? In our opinion, purchase lease options and rent to SA, otherwise known as rent to rent. So before we jump in, let me explain quickly what a PLO is, or a purchase lease option, and what a rent to SA is.
So a rent to rent is a strategy in property that simply means you can rent a property from a landlord and then rent it out to create an uplift in property revenue, rents and income.
So for example, you rent a property for £500 per month from a landlord, and then you rent the property on Airbnb for £100 per night, otherwise £3,000 gross income per month. You'll need to be responsible for the utilities, the council tax, the running costs, but this is a great strategy as you don't need a purchase deposit.
These agreements usually last between 3 and 5 years. And then a purchase lease option is pretty much the same, but the difference is that you agree to buy the property at the end. So if you rent it for 3 to 5 years, I think it can be up to 7. And then you buy the property at the end of the agreement. But the good thing is that you agree the price at the start of the agreement, so you get the benefit of uplift in value over that number of years. And the seller can't change their mind on the purchase price once it is agreed at the start and the contracts are signed. That's what they have to agree to at the end.
So PLOs and rent to rent are an excellent low money down strategies that give you solid returns without the worry of interest rates, or needing to worry about purchase deposits or stamp duty. So for rent to SA, there are 2 models. The first one is Model 1, which means that you are the rent to SA operator. So effectively, you give the landlord guaranteed rent and use the property as serviced accommodation. Or Model 2 is where you are the landlord yourself. So you effectively receive guaranteed rent for your existing property from an operator. So for example, with Model 1.
Yep, so for PLOs and rent to rents, you don't need 25% deposit, you don't need to be mortgageable, and you don't need to wait 3 to 6 months to complete on the transaction. You can benefit from solid monthly cash flow, starting profits from the deal within 2 to 3 weeks once you're set up, and you can leverage your capital to acquire multiple deals at the same time.
So some of the startup costs with purchase lease options and rent to SA. First one being the sourcing fee. So just like any source property, there will be an associated fee attached to the deal. Now, these fees usually range from £2,500 to £5,000, depending on the size of the property, the expected returns, the condition, and the location. So, for example, some deals such as blocks of apartments or blocks of flats may have a higher sourcing fee. Secondly, you need to look at staging and furnishing. You will likely need to stage and furnish the property to make it more appealing for tenants. And so as a very rough guide, a 2-bedroom house will cost around £3,000 to furnish, a 3-bedroom house to be around £4,000, and then a 4-bedroom house or even a block of apartments can be £5,000 and above.
So some more startup costs. So for PLOs and rent to rents, we ask the operator gives a holding deposit to the landlord. This is normally either 6 to 12 months worth of rent that's kept in the source and investments independent escrow account. The holding deposit just protects the interest of the transaction. It means the landlords will be covered for their rental income. So for example, if something happens and the investor can't pay the rent, we just take it out of the 12 months they've already put up front. But of course, it would be refundable at the end.
So next thing you need to consider is the location of the property. So the locations of PLOs and rent to SA deals will determine the occupancy rates and the demand. So getting it right, in our opinion, is essential. So some things to look out for to determine if there's demand in the area, if there's any hospitals nearby, any motorway access, if there's train stations nearby, what the local industry and large employers are, any public parks and nature reserves, and how close it is to the city centre or a town centre or any local attractions in the area. And it's also worth noting that rent to SA can serve Airbnb tourists as well as contractors, NHS staff, professional workers, and so on.
So PLOs and rent to rents are very quick, and that's one of the major advantages of doing either a model. So instead of a traditional purchase taking up to 6 months to complete, or sometimes longer, PLO or rent to rent normally takes 2 to 3 weeks to formalise and begin, meaning you can generate cash flow very quickly, and you will also be putting less money into the deal.
So in relation to the cash flow, depending on the deal, location, size, and condition, this can change. So you will be responsible for the monthly utilities and ongoing costs, such as looking after the gas, the electricity, the water, the council tax, repairs, check-ins, cleanings, and bookings. But because the property is rented on a daily basis rather than traditionally on a monthly basis, you will get a higher uplift in rent and revenue per month. And so as a rough rule of thumb, after costs, a standard 2 to 3 bed house, assuming you've got the area correct, can generate between £300 to £500 in monthly profit. And And now for each deal, we will consult with our bespoke rent SA manager to provide exact figures and running costs. So in summary, you need to consider the upfront costs when looking at a rent to SA or purchase lease option deal. So for example, in this example, the monthly rent is £700 times 12, and this effectively be your holding deposit, plus £4,000 to stage a property, plus £4,000 for the sourcing fee, which equals £16,400. Next, you need to consider the location, what's close by, if there's any train stations, amenities, hospitals. Then you'll need to think about the timescales. And then finally, you'll need to consider the cash flow of roughly £300 to £500 per month, depending if it's a 2 to 3 bedroom house. Obviously, with the block of apartments, it can be much more. And feel free to get in touch with us to verify any cash flow information with our renter SA manager.
Yes, so we hope all that information makes sense. If you have any questions, get in touch after this presentation. We'll be glad to help. And we had an example that we uploaded to the platform, but obviously it's sold. So we're just going to run through that so you can see, sort of understand the figures.
So this is a property that we had in Liverpool. Now the sourcing fee for this particular deal was £3,500. The staging costs were £3,500, and the holding deposit was 12 months worth of rent, which is effectively £800 per month times 12. So the total upfront money was £16,600. In this case, the running utilities per month was £800, and this included things like the Wi-Fi, water, gas, electric, cleaning, repairs, and some contingency costs. The rent to SA management fees, which was £390, the rent to the landlord, which was £800, and the OTA commissions, which stands for online travel agency. So effectively your Airbnb commissions, your booking.com commissions was £200. So your total monthly expenses was £2,190. However, the gross income for this property was £2,600. So your total profit per month was £410 per month, or just under £5,000 per year. Now, as an ROI, this is nearly 30% ROI. And now, assuming that you return your full holding deposit after the agreement is finished, your ROI actually jumps up to 70%, which is absolutely fantastic. Model 2, which is effectively the other side of the entire process. So effectively, if you're currently an existing landlord who already has buy-to-lets or blocks of apartments, and you effectively want to receive the guaranteed rent on the other side of the transaction, we can certainly help you with this. So far, we've helped around 45 landlords kind of get guaranteed rent, which again is kind of the model 2, which is the other side of the coin.
So in this case, instead of being the rent-to-rent operator, you are the landlord and you allow someone to be the operator in your property. The operator pays you a guaranteed rent and you just sit back and enjoy the rent coming in. You don't pay any letting agent fees. There's some maintenance that you'll be responsible for, such as like windows, doors, structure of the building, that sort of thing. But yeah, they cover kind of day-to-day maintenance. So it's very hands-off. So some of the other advantages, so you got no void periods because obviously it's the guaranteed rent, no letting agent fees, no maintenance costs apart from the few things that you are responsible for, and no tenant fired fees. So yeah, as the landlord, you keep more of your rent. Your gross rent is your net rent. So you effectively walk away with a higher return. So again, we've already kind of touched on this. So the thing to consider here is that some mortgage companies may not allow rent to SA. So please check with your mortgage broker or your lender to see if you are allowed to have short-term lets, also known as corporate lets or a corporate tenancy.
So I really do thank you both for your time, effort and energy on today's episode. I want to thank all of our guests who attended live and all of those who are watching on the replay. I really hope and trust that this episode has explained exactly what it means to be either the owner or the operator of this strategy as an example. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care and bye for now.